After a record 107 underclassmen declared for this year's NFL draft, the league is now taking steps to curtail that number. I'm Kerry Chow, joined by ESPN NFL insider Field Yates. Field, what is the league doing to limit the number of underclassmen declaring?
Yeah, Kerry, it's an interesting step here by the league, and essentially when underclassmen thinks about preparing or declaring for the draft, they have the ability to receive feedback from an NFL-sanctioned board, and in previous years, up until this point, that board could appoint a first, second, or third round grade, or even a do not enter the draft grade, at which point the player had a decision to make. Now the NFL is going to do away with that third round grade, so players will now only receive one of three options: a first round grade, a second round grade, or do not enter the NFL draft at our advice. So the thought here is that if we sort of limit the number of players, because of course there are going to be fewer first and second round grades than there will be first, second, and third round grades, then there will be fewer cases where underclassmen declare for the draft and then are not actually picked, because of those 107 underclassmen that you mentioned earlier, 37 were not selected, including 4 out of the 6 that came from the University of California. And of course, when a player declares for the draft, he gives up his eligibility so he cannot return to college and continue his football playing career.
And speaking of not being able to continue their football playing career, how big of a problem is this of underclassmen declaring for the draft?
Well, to be fair, it's not really a problem for the NFL, because if these players are good enough to hack it in the NFL, they will find work. But what it is a problem for is these underclassmen, and also, to be clear, every underclassman has a different reason for declaring. Sometimes it's because they think they have the ability. Sometimes it's because their family needs some sort of financial support. And, of course, the NFL offers work and a potentially lucrative salary. And sometimes it's a situation where there's a behavioral or suspension or academic issue at school that players come out for that reason. But the issue isn't really so much the NFL's as it is these players, because although there were 70 underclassmen out of those 107 drafted, it's certainly no sure thing that all those players will make an NFL roster. So the NFL is simply trying to get these college players to be as ready as they're going to be for the NFL draft, rather than coming out too soon and stunting potential development, because that extra year of playing at college, that can make a dramatic impact on a player in his potential draft status.
Certainly can. For all your latest NFL news, of course, be sure to check out ESPN.com's NFL page. He's ESPN NFL insider Field Yates. Field, thanks as always.
Thanks, Kerry.
I'm Kerry Chow with your latest ESPN headlines.